Hello PLAB 2 candidates. In this video, we're diving into the real question on everyone's mind with the upcoming November 2024 update. How many stations can you safely fail? Let's unpack what this means and, more importantly, how to approach your exam with confidence. You've always wondered, how many can I fail? If you're like most PLAB 2 candidates, knowing how many stations you can fail gives you a sense of relief and helps manage your exam stress. Previously, you needed to pass 10 out of 16 stations, meaning you could afford to fail up to 6 stations and still pass the exam. But with the new system starting in November 2024, this rule will change. Instead of a fixed minimum of 10 stations, the number of stations you can fail will now depend on the overall difficulty of the exam. This will be determined using a regression method that adjusts the pass criteria based on how challenging the exam is. The formula for the pass criteria is pass criteria equals base pass plus the difficulty coefficient multiplied by exam difficulty. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine the base pass is 10 stations. If the exam difficulty score is 2 on a scale of 1 to 5 and the difficulty coefficient is 0.5, then pass criteria equals 10 plus 0.5 multiplied by 2 equals 11 stations. Let's break it down practically. The number of stations you can fail will vary based on two things. The first factor is how hard the exam is overall. The second is the difficulty of individual stations. If the exam is tough, with many tricky stations or unfamiliar scenarios, you may be allowed to fail more than 6 stations, possibly 7 or 8. However, if the exam seems easier, you might need to pass more than 10 stations, meaning you can fail fewer than 6. Here's where things get practical. Since the number of stations you can fail is linked to the exam's difficulty, here are some tips to assess how difficult the exam feels as you go through it. First, pay attention to new or unfamiliar scenarios. If you encounter many new situations you haven't seen in your preparation, it's likely the exam is on the tougher side. In this case, the pass criteria may be adjusted, and you might be allowed to fail more stations. Conversely, if you find most stations familiar or manageable, the pass mark will likely be higher, and you'll need to pass more stations. Next, note the complexity of the tasks. If many stations require complex reasoning, multiple steps, or combine several clinical skills, the exam could be more challenging overall. This would mean you have a bit more leeway to fail. Conversely, if you feel that the tasks are straightforward, this could mean you'll need to pass more stations. Finally, assess your own performance after each station. If you feel that you've nailed most stations but struggled in just a few, don't panic, especially if those tricky stations were noticeably harder. There's a chance those tougher stations will be accounted for in the final calculation. Keep track of how many stations feel particularly difficult or unfamiliar, as that could give you an idea of the overall difficulty. Let's imagine you're sitting the exam, and you notice 3 completely new scenarios you've never seen in your revision materials. 2 of the stations involved multiple tasks that felt overwhelming, such as managing a deteriorating patient and taking a history from a relative in the same station. You feel confident about 9 of the stations, but 7 stations either felt confusing or difficult. In this scenario, it's likely that the exam is designed to be on the harder side. The regression method may allow you to fail up to 7 or 8 stations and still pass the exam. So, how does this affect your exam strategy? Here are 3 key points. Stay calm. Even if you feel a station went badly, remember that the overall difficulty is being considered. Tough stations won't make or break you on their own. Maximize your strengths. Focus on the stations you feel confident about. The regression method works in your favor, especially if you do well in stations that align with your strengths. Use time wisely. In difficult stations, don't panic. Prioritize showing core competencies like patient safety and communication. Even if you struggle with the clinical details, the new system isn't there to make things harder, it's designed to ensure fairness. The number of stations you can fail will flex depending on the overall exam difficulty. In difficult exams, you'll likely be able to fail more than 6 stations, while in easier exams, you'll need to pass more. The key is to assess the exam as you go, stay calm, and keep doing your best across all stations. Remember, it's okay to fail a few stations, and the new system ensures the exam adjusts to its difficulty level. Good luck, and trust in your preparation and skills. Would you like more tips on exam preparation and how to stay calm during challenging scenarios? Drop a comment below.
Please like and subscribe to TuringMedSchool. Good luck with your preparation.